We're going to talk about time management. If you are one of my clients, you know that I preach day in and day out about managing our time well. All of my clients learn very early on in that orientation call. If they are 1 minute late, they are receiving a text from me. Where are you? You were late. Same thing for their week 2 call, right? They learn very quickly, and that is part of time management. So before we dive into the full presentation, I just want to toss out a question. So don't make Eric call on you. This is an opportunity to share. There's no right or wrong answers here, right? You guys tell me, what do you guys think time management is? What does it look like? You tell me.
Being able to utilize the time that you have throughout the day without wasting any of it.
Yeah, I like that. What else?
Getting
Not being-
everything you need done in the allotted time.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking those 26,600 seconds that you have and making the most of them.
Oh, I dig that. I dig that a lot. Yeah. What else?
Being
Anyone?
Not being,
Efficiency of life.
not being constantly reactive to the day.
Ooh, you guys are coming up with some good stuff. Jonathan, did you have something that you said, bud?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, sorry. Just being organized, like, you do the same thing every single day at the right exact time. Make it easier on yourself.
Yeah, it's like a routine, some structure. Yeah. I dig that. Anybody else?
Learning how to manage it into your schedule, your life, and learning how to keep that addendum for the future.
Yeah, I like that, George. That's good. That's real good.
Planning
For me,
ahead.
being a nurse. Sorry, go ahead, Coach A.
Planning ahead.
Planning ahead.
Discipline.
Yep.
You gotta have discipline to have time management, because you gotta realize this. Because when you got time management, that you also have to follow the structure, right? And therefore, in order for you to follow the structure, that means you have to be disciplined to actually take care of what you got to take care of within the time allotted. So discipline is always key.
Absolutely. Yep. Was there someone else that was trying to speak to?
Yeah, it was me. For me, especially being a nurse, you have a lot of medication that patients have to receive at a certain time of the day. Otherwise, it's not effective for them. So you have to be able to juggle everything else that is going on to make sure that it's administered at the proper time. Otherwise, there could be some severe adverse consequences.
Yeah, shit, that's serious. That takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else want to share their thoughts? I want to take it that's a no. I loved all those answers, by the way. I think everybody has brought something to the table with how they think time management is, right? Because there's no right or wrong. And that's the beautiful thing about it. So what I'm going to share about time management is pretty much exactly what you guys laid out, right? Think about your time. It's being effective with your time, right? Effectively planning. Angelo, you said that, planning ahead, right? So making sure that you're using your time wisely. With that, productivity, right? So being productive in completing the activities and the tasks that you need to do, right? And there's a difference between a need versus a want, right? Equally prioritize. It's massive that we prioritize what we need to do and that we're able to complete those urgent and important tasks versus, oh, I'll get to it later, and then we forget or we delay that action. If we know something needs to get taken care of that's important, that needs to be prioritized. So it all aligns with just making sure that we're managing our time wisely. I think we all agree on that, right? Yes, Coach Cat. That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Right.
All right. So exactly kind of what Angela had already said, planning. There's so many ways to kind of plan out your day. And one of the things I'm going to go through is different types of ways that we can be making sure that we're using our time wisely in terms of how we can plan. So first things first, yeah, you need to think about each day and what needs to be accomplished in that day. What appointments do you have? What family activities do you have? What do the kids have going on, right? What does that look like? What time are you waking up? Do you have a routine for when you wake up, right? What time are you going to the gym and getting that workout in? Are you walking? Are you running for the day? When are you doing that? Making sure that's part of your routine, right? It's the same thing for my clients. I preach to them all the time about making sure part of their plan is you need to know what you guys want to have for food for the week, which means then you need to make a grocery list, right? So have you made your list? Have you gone to the grocery store? Do you know when you're going to the grocery store? Equally, meal prep days, right? Last month, Coach Walker talked on meal prep, right? And what that could look like. So making sure that you recognize what works for you when it comes to meal prepping and you're taking care of that, that's part of planning. And then bedtime, your bedtime routine. And what time are you going to bed? Right? I've got a client on here right now. I'm going to shout him out. Will has to time block when he goes to bed. And he has to send me that every single week to prove that he is time blocking enough time for him to unwind and to get to bed on time. So lots of various different aspects in terms of planning out our day go into effect, right? Do you guys feel like there's anything on this list that I left out that you feel like you need to plan for your day?
I got
Your
some.
family.
Yeah, family. Yeah, family time's on there. Yep. What else?
Maybe work or a job.
Well, obviously, like, yes, of course. I love that.
Sorry.
I
No,
think some
that
time.
was funny. I think that was funny because I think it's true. Yes, of course, work. Yes.
Just plain adulting, you know, the time that you set aside to do maintenance, not just, you know, cleaning every house, but like setting time to figure out, you know, repairs and what you need to do, like overhead maintenance of your home, paying bills, stuff like that. Sometimes people don't take the time to sit down and do stuff like that. And those are important priorities as well. That's
Good
definitely
point,
got to be
Will.
built into it.
Yeah, good point. I appreciate that. Eric, you had
Meditation.
something?
Meditation.
Yeah, meditation, taking
Meditation
time.
is key, especially for high stress people.
Mm-hmm.
What
I would say
about your,
schoolwork too.
Okay, schoolwork.
I was gonna
what
say,
about,
for me, it's like planning out when I'm gonna eat. Like every 2 hours, I need to eat something to make sure that I hit all my macros for the day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Planning out that food. Yep, absolutely.
and also what about your honey-do list? I know it seems kind of minor, but you know, if you're the primary breadwinner, right, you have to account for work, you have to account for travel time, you have to account for those things that you have to do when you get home. It's not just about the kids. It's also about making sure you take time for your mate, which is your biggest support system, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I was going to say something that goes along with Coach Eric is, you know, just your mental health, just the time that you need to kind of unwind after work. And, you know, because a lot of times when you get home, it's like, oh, hey, you know, what's for dinner? Oh, the kids want this. So we need to go do that. And it's like, me personally, I just need like a half an hour just to sit down and let my brain decompress.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. In this house, my partner and I, we call that cave time. Absolutely. We go and we sit in the bedroom in the dark and it's called cave time. So yes, 1000%. I'm with you on that.
Let's say I got one.
Yeah, what you got?
Managing your hygiene time, because we all know that everyone's guilty about going in the bathroom with their phone, wasting 45 minutes to an hour, just sitting on their phone and not actually doing what they need to do in there. So definitely getting in there, not taking Hollywood showers and stuff like that. Just go in there, get your business done, and get out.
That's a good one, Shelby.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
I
that.
can definitely say I'm guilty of the toilet time. That's for sure.
All right, cool. Anybody have anything else before I add on?
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
For me, I'm on call like 24 hours a day, so I can go work like a full shift. And then they'll still call me in after hours, and I have to go in. Kind of comes with the whole military aspect, but so we have to kind of prioritize and figure out when we got childcare planned and everything like that, and making sure that our kid's taken care of, because she's also hot on that list too to get called in after work. So we have to make sure we plan our days accordingly and make sure we have a backup plan on top of that, so we can take care of all that and be able to manage our day and our kid's day too, because he's got a strict routine too.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, kids need structure and routine. Sounds like a lot, Damien, for sure. All right. I'm going to go through different ways. And by the way, this is not all the ways. This is just a couple different ways that you could be prioritizing your time and managing yourself well, right? First things first, time block. I'm going to go through that and what that looks like and what that means. A second thing could be setting a timer and or reminders on your phone. I have several clients, right? I don't even know, I'm in the 60s, and I can tell you half of them set a reminder that goes off for when their spreadsheet is due, right? So they know, like, cool, I'm a Tuesday spreadsheet person. Monday night, that reminder is going off to remind them to turn their spreadsheet in that night before bed, right? So setting timers, setting reminders, using an actual hard copy of a planner, right? Like an actual calendar planner and or a whiteboard, right? That's an easy solution. And then sticky notes, right? I'm going to go through what that can look like too, in terms of just being able to prioritize what needs to get done, right? So that we're not forgetting things at the end of the day. So time blocking, right? I just pulled this off the internet, so roll with it. So this is an example of a way that you could be time blocking your day, right? So you could do it hour by hour. Equally, as you can see, this is done in a couple hour increments. So it's just one tool, one way to be able to use your time wisely and effectively, right? On this next slide, what I did is I actually filled it in and just for shits and gigs, right? So that you could see, okay, cool, this is different ways that I could be prioritizing my time better, right? I already mentioned Will, he times blocks, right? I have a couple other clients that time block. This is just such a great way and a great tool so that you're staying on task, especially if you're in school. I have quite a few clients that are in school right now. And in this way, they allot themselves that study time, right? They allot themselves driving in class, getting home from class. So then that way they're staying organized and not falling behind in homework or falling behind in study time, okay? Any questions on that time block before I move on? Cool. All right, timers, super simple. So my partner and I, we've got a 9-year-old boy and an 11-year-old boy, and we have a couple different Googles set up throughout the house. So school mornings, Google sets off a timer and she does a little chime, and then she's like, all right, guys, it's time to get ready for school. And she tells them backpacks on, shoes on, and get to the front door. And I love it because it keeps them, who are 9 and 11, organized for getting their butts to the front door so that we can get them on the bus on time. Equally, it's the same thing for their bedtime, by the way. Bedtime starts at 7:30. That timer goes off, and then she spits out bedtime routine, right? Brushing teeth, taking a shower, whatever that looks like. So don't hesitate to use those timers to remind you to do just basic things. I will tell my clients all the time when they struggle with water, super simple solution, really simple. Set your timer to go off in an hour. When that timer goes off, you chug water, reset your timer. It's so simple so that if you're struggling with water, wham, bam, you just took care of it. I have clients that forget to eat. They have 3 different timers set in their phone throughout the day. So when that timer goes off, they know to eat breakfast, they know to eat lunch, they know to eat dinner. No joke, right?
Hey, Coach, I have a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind, if I'm not jumping in out of turn.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so I have an autistic grandson who lives with us. So full disclosure, we have 8 kids and 21 grandkids, and we have 3 of our grandkids are autistic. We have 1 that lives with us, and you can hear my wife in the background fussing at the dogs and my son right now. But so she just had a knee surgery and a couple of back surgeries. I'm sorry. So she has a very inconsistent bedtime. As a result, my grandson has an inconsistent bedtime, which also affects my schedule, right? So what are some tips or tricks, if you have any, that can help you kind of navigate those waters, right?
Because of all the inconsistency within the schedules, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Like, I'm consistent to a fault. My wife fusses at me all the time. She's like, oh, you do this at this time, you do this at this time. I'm like, I'm a Marine. Even though I've been out the Corps since '99, I'm still very consistent, right? So sometimes it affects my sleep schedule. So sometimes I get 4 hours, sometimes I get 10. But nonetheless, some of those things throughout the day, I work from home 2 days a week. And I would almost rather be at the office those 2 days because
Yeah. Than at the house trying to work. Yeah. In terms of the inconsistency, yeah, Eric, what were you gonna say, dude?
Real quick. So with setting that alarm, the one thing I like to do is I set an alarm notification sound that pisses me the fuck off. Because if it's one
that makes
annoys me,
copy that, coach. Copy that. That makes a lot of sense.
if it's a noise that annoys me, I'm gonna go check it every single time, and I'm oh shit, I forgot. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't have thought of that, Eric. I like that. Jason, was that helpful?
Yeah, actually, it was very helpful because like sometimes their voices annoy me, but it's not for lack of love. It's just like
Yeah.
I know when I'm at the office, I don't hear their voices, right? So when I'm working at home, sometimes I kind of get into a zone and I block that out. And then when I hear a knock at the door, I'm like, what the fuck? Because I have a glass door at work. I have a poster board basically at home, chalkboard, everything's everything's a replicate of my office except for my door, right?
Yeah.
So what coach is saying, set another alarm. So maybe I'll beat them because as crazy as it sounds, even with the autism and my wife, they are kind of consistent. They're kind of consistent. They're kind of on a schedule. So I just have to find a way to work myself around that. Maybe set it 5 minutes to 20 minutes before they come in on their schedule. And that way I'm ahead of it. I expect it. I'm not surprised. I'm not annoyed. I can still keep functioning, keep rolling through it. So Coach E, thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Eric, it's funny you say that because I literally changed my alarm that wakes me up because the default alarm for the iPhone when it goes off pisses me off. So then I'd wake up. I know. So I had to set it to like a gentle alarm because I wake up really easy anyways. So I set it to something like gentle because then when I wake up, I'm not like annoyed and pissed off.
You look gentle.
I remember I used to have one of a rooster back when I was younger, and that shit would piss me the fuck off. And I'd be like, "What the fuck?" I had to get it.
My dad used to use that freaking alarm, and I could hear it from the basement, and I'd be pissed.
That shit sucked.
Yo, who had the alarm that like the fucking reactor alarm? Like the fuck like it.
I hate that.
Any
one.
other veterans like that would
make
freak
me
you the
so
fuck
mad.
out?
Yeah. It reminds me of boot camp at 4 a.m. No, can't. Yeah.
If I had an alarm of a K-bar hitting the pole, that would probably annoy the fuck out of me.
The reactor?
It's like a radioactive, like I don't know.
I use that for my alarm to wake up.
What's
Bro,
it
I
sound
fucking
like?
hate that shit. I would have to tell people around me to like, hey, you gotta change your shit because that shit is fucking. Because in Iraq they fucking had some shit like that too, where it was like if there was an RPG like close to base, like an alarm like that would go off. So every time I heard it, it just wasn't a fucking good feeling. Yeah, I know somebody has that. Yeah, I hate that shit. Sorry. Go for it, cat.
Okay. I was just letting you guys chat. I'm like, all right.
My bad.
All right. Next up would be like some type of whiteboard, right? Because whiteboards are easy. It's dry erase. So you get to change it all the time. So whether you want to do it for the week, right? Do a weekly whiteboard. And then that way you can time block on that weekly whiteboard, right? The other thing you could do too with that is do a monthly whiteboard, right? You get to color code it, right? It's definitely color coded in this house, I can tell you, for all the various different events, right? So just keep that in mind. This is another way to keep yourself organized, especially when you have families, right? And you have kids. And then that way you're just staying organized and you can do it by person, right? At the end of the day, the goal is just to stay organized. So this is another tool. You can find, I mean, literally, you could Google both of these, a weekly whiteboard to a monthly whiteboard. And then that way you can use it right? Especially if you're in school, this is a great way to stay organized so that you're writing down when your midterms are, you're writing down when your finals are, when assignments are due, essays, that type of thing, right? Good old sticky notes. So here's the thing. I'm on a MacBook. MacBook automatically comes with an app of sticky notes. So it's pretty cool. So you can color code them. I use sticky notes on my MacBook, right? I tell my clients have learned pretty quick. I'm like, I got to write this down now or I'm going to forget, because I will forget, right? So if I need to do something for a client, I make sure I write it down on that sticky note so that I don't forget, because I can be forgetful. And then that way it helps me to stay better organized and get my shit done, right? So again,
I live on sticky notes.
what was that?
I said I live on sticky notes. I literally have one for wrestling and things that I need to get done for wrestling, one for body apps, and then I have one for my personal life.
Do you
And
use the widget too, or like the real deal sticky notes, the widgets?
I use the widget, yeah. And it's just pinned, it's pinned on my desktop that I
Mhm.
spend all my time on. And so like if I'm doing body app stuff, I have like, okay, I have spreadsheets today. I have this workout adjustment. I have this, and I just clear them off as I go. And then when I show up the next morning, I literally refill it out like, okay, what needs to be done today?